Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar from Blue Cloud that is part of the European Green Week. So my name is Patricia Cabrera. I work for the Flanders Marine Institute in Belgium, and today I am representing the whole team of Blue Cloud and our hackathon prize winners, to present you what is Blue Cloud and the results of the hackathon. So I'll just guide you through the agenda. First, I will introduce the Blue Cloud in the context of the virtual labs that we are developing there for marine research. And then we will have Laura Gomez Navarro from Utrecht University and the particle trackers that will present the application C clearly, followed by Ines Haberle from Ruđer Bošković Institute and AqADAPT presenting perfect. And we will end with Bryan Vallejo from Digital Geographic Lab and the Marine Wildlife Trackers presenting the application, the Wildlife Tracker for Oceans. Then at the end, we will welcome you any questions or comments that you would like to do. And we will have a very short poll just to have some interaction with you and understand where are you coming from. Now I like to start with this slide because here you can see how many different ways we have to observe the ocean and how over the time we keep on increasing and with the rapidly increasing technologies, there is really a big wave of new data types that have been collected. And as such, there is also a lot of marine data infrastructures that are managing this data, and they are providing to a very wide community of users this type of new data that are actually required for the training and validating of a new generation of algorithms. And these are essentials for obtaining data products such as the ones we are going to show you today. But the challenge lies in really being able to find and access all these different data types from this myriad of data infrastructures that are often dispersed. But to overcome this, all these leading European marine data infrastructures have joined forces to demonstrate the power of the Blue Cloud. So with Blue Cloud, users now have the possibility to access from a single point this myriad of ocean data, but as well have access for tools, services, and research outputs, the data products that we develop in there to perform research in a more efficient way. These are some of the examples of the key services that are provided in Blue Cloud and that were also key to develop the virtual labs that are found in the lab, but as well the data products that will be shown today by the hackathon winners. We have, as I just said, access to Blue Cloud data. So this also helps you to have an easier integration of data sources, but as well to a virtual research environment, which is what you can see in the image in the computer on the slide on the right bottom corner. In this virtual research environment, there is key services such as a Jupyter Hub, there is an RStudio server, and this also allows you to do a heavier computational analysis that normally in a local machine wouldn't be possible. Then we have as well the virtual labs that are within this virtual research environment. These are created with the purpose of having in this data sets that you can download from the Discovery Data and Access service. You can push a data set from all the Blue data infrastructures into your workspace in the virtual lab, and there you can pull them towards the different services in Blue Cloud and use everything in this single space. We have as well a Blue data catalog, so everything that that is created in the Blue Cloud, you can as well publish it in the data catalog and push it to Zenodo, where you can get a DOI, which is it helps a lot for the visibility of your published product. Blue Cloud started in October 2019. And it's now we are in the last year, we are still working in shaping the virtual research environment and the needs based on 5 demonstrators that will showcase the power of this Blue Cloud and also will help in promoting a blue economy. So the 5 virtual labs are addressing specific societal, political, and data challenges that are tackled by researchers and in different fields. So from Demo 1 to Demo 5, as you can see in the image, we cover very wide fields in marine science, from biodiversity, genomics, environmental, fisheries, and aquaculture data. So combining different data types, using different types of techniques such as neural networks, we produce these data products that ultimately can serve to inform to the policies, to inform these decisions. So after more than a year, us working internally in Blue Cloud, we really wanted to present this for any users, for what we are calling the Blue community, to be able to test the Blue Cloud. As more people we are using it, we are more realizing on the needs, and we can tailor one by one case the needs in the Blue Cloud. So for this, we developed the Blue Cloud Hackathon last February 2022, where we had over 32 teams joining the hackathon, with a total of 149 participants from 39 countries, from which 20 were European member states, testing the Blue Cloud. And now it's everything is really open to the public. We welcome anyone to join the Blue Cloud to test it and provide feedback, which is really helpful for us, that until the end of the project next year, we can still keep improving the services that we are providing. So with this, I end up my presentation for now, and I would like to thank you everyone for your attention, and I will pass the floor to Laura. So yeah, you can share your screen, and we are happy to hear you. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Patricia, for this introduction. And yes, so I'm Laura Gomez Navarro. I'm actually a postdoctoral researcher at Utrecht University in the Netherlands, and I will be presenting on behalf of the See Clearly team the project we developed during Blue Cloud Hackathon. So See Clearly is a tool to assess ocean plastic impacts on and by aquaculture farms. And to start with, I will show you this video that we made to present the project.
Are you an aquaculture manager looking for a pollution-free location for your next farm? Or a decision maker assessing if aquaculture farms can pollute marine protected areas? Or are you simply looking for clean and safe fish to eat? Then See Clearly is a tool that can answer all of your questions. The particle trackers used the Blue Cloud to develop simulations and a web-based visualization to track pollutants in the ocean. You simply open the web page, click on the location of an aquaculture farm from the Blue Cloud database, and trajectories of harmful pollutants appear, which have traveled to or from this farm. So how did we produce these simulations? In a Jupyter notebook on the Blue Cloud, we combined an open access Lagrangian framework called ocean parcels with ocean currents from CMEMS and released virtual particles of one pollutant, microplastic, from one origin, the coasts or the aquaculture farms. With an extra €25,000, we will integrate other Blue Cloud data, including all pollutants and aquaculture farms, marine protected areas, and even winds and waves to simulate storms. With our probability analysis, we will generate a public, fair, compliant contamination risk map of the Mediterranean to share with stakeholders and educate the general public. Everyone has the same goal when it comes to aquaculture farming. Producers, consumers, and decision makers want to ensure safe, clean, marine-based foods. Let's see clearly provide you the pollutant tracking you need.
Okay, so to summarize our idea, we wondered what would happen if we could develop an impact assessment tool to determine locations for lowest probability of both plastic pollution reaching aquaculture cages, but also the plastic pollution from these cages that could reach marine protected areas close by. And we thought that maybe this idea could be useful to a range of end users, like the aquaculture farmers themselves, and to help the managers decide where to place the cages, like already the existing ones, or maybe any new cages. And also that this could help decision makers to have this to be helpful for marine spatial planning, and also for accreditation bodies to determine how safe the food they're providing is. And lastly, also for the general public, because this they can be also like interested in the food they're eating, but also on the environmental impact of their food. And also the tool is interactive, so it's a nice tool also for outreach events. To develop this idea, we combined the Blue Cloud platform with our framework. So Blue Cloud provided a virtual lab where we could test our idea, and also provided support for this project. And another important thing that Blue Cloud provided was the data sets that we use, both from the Copernicus Marine Service, so the advective fields that in our case are the ocean currents, and from the EMONet database, from where we got the aquaculture cage locations, and also some data of coastal plastic. And then our framework was the ocean parcels tool, that is open access Lagrangian particle tracking framework that we use in our team widely in order to release virtual microplastic particles and track the pathways by following, in this case, the field of the ocean currents, but also can be waves and wind. And the last tool we used was one called VLIZ, which also is an open source software, which is an efficient way to then visualize the results that we obtain from this Lagrangian simulation. So our plan now that one of the prizes from the hackathon was we did some tests on some of the Mediterranean sea farms, and the idea is to now further develop this to all aquaculture farms in the Mediterranean Sea, or the ones at least we have data available from. And also we are working on doing some stakeholder interviews during our trip that we will do next week, actually in France. And so we can find out more to what are really the stakeholder needs of this tool we are developing. Then we want to organize an outreach event in September to really present all these advancements we made from our tool and discuss further with potential users. And also it would be a place to showcase the further developments done with the visualization tool, the particle VLIZ, which is actually developed by one of our collaborators in the team, Olmo Zavala Romero, that actually works in the Florida State University. and he's the one that provided like the setup to visualize all our data at the end of the hackathon, and I will show you later. And to take this idea further, there's also quite some opportunities. It's like, for example, not only considering plastics, but other ocean pollutions to expand this in a more global scale, not only in the Mediterranean. And also it's quite customizable, so we can adapt it to the user's needs. So here we can see one of the website of the visualization tool, and in this case we can see in blue and green the location of the aquaculture farms, and in orange you have the particle trajectories. And this simulation was done where we released these microplastic particles from the coastline, and it helps to see maybe which farms might be effective. And I was saying before, so this tool allows, as you just saw now, to modify a bit the visualization. So in this case, like change the size of the points, and we can also play around with the color. So it allows to adapt it, some of the visualizations, which might be easier for different users. And we also did the simulations, backward in time. So we can select an aquaculture farm location like this one in the west coast of Italy. And if we imagine that maybe they had a lot of plastic pollution or any pollution, with this simulation backward in time, we can see where is the most likely location where the pollution came from. And also we can help maybe coordinate for the policymakers to say, okay, maybe all these farms here in the west coast of Italy really need to policymakers contact with the French policymakers, as some of the particles seem to be coming from the Mediterranean French coast. Okay, so well, that's some of the results we have till now, but all of this is thanks to that we're a large team of early career ocean professionals. So we're all like masters, PhD or postdocs, and we're from a range also of institutions, both from Utrecht University, Imperial College in London, Florida State University, as I said before. And yeah, that's all from me, and thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Laura. It's a very, very important application what you develop, and I'm very excited for the future actions that you showed us and how this can evolve, as is a very important tool for stakeholders, as you mentioned. Okay, so now we can go with our next presenter. Ines will present us perfect. So thank you, Ines.
Thank you. So I think you can, I hope you can see the screen. So first of all, thank you for inviting me to be able to present, and for the Blue Cloud to take initiative to participate in this EU Green Week. And so we are the team of scientists with different backgrounds from Croatia, from two institutes, Ruđer, Bošković in Zagreb, and the Department of Biology from University of Osijek. We are a combination of biologists, oceanographers, microbiologists, with physics background, ICT, and we are usually collaborating on different projects, but then again, we came together again for the hackathon. And our idea managed to win the second prize. So we're really happy that we were recognized for this. So aquaculture, as we all know, is a key role for sustainable development, and actually plays a key role in a range of all the initiatives such as UN Sustainable Development Goals, EU Mission Starfish, and also the EU Green Deal Farm to Fork mission. And the stakeholders within this sector are faced with a range of uncertainties that might slow down the investment into aquaculture. And some of the questions that are often raised by stakeholders, which are farmers, investors, and also policymakers, are how much do I need to invest, and how much will I need to invest in the future? Which fish should I farm depending on the location I'm located? how fast will I gain, will my fish grow, and how fast could I monetize my investment? Will the disease under certain areas will be a problem, and how to develop policies that can help develop aquaculture into rapid food production. And the main question, the like umbrella over it, it's what will the future bring? So how can we answer all these questions in the aspect of future? And in the future, what we are most concerned about is the climate change, because it plays a crucial role for the uncertainties. And the uncertainty is that we want to increase the investor confidence and the smart policies so they can invest more and not to be afraid that they will lose the money and stop their investments. So in order to contribute to untangling some of these questions, we developed through Hackathon the idea of perfect. So what actually is perfect? Perfect, simply put, is a user-friendly platform that can forecast the effects of climate change on aquaculture. It is a friendly geospatial web application, so it's actually widely accessible to anyone with internet connection. It's science-driven because we are mostly scientists, and we wanted to develop a tool that is scientifically based, but will connect the research and development with the industry that can benefit from the knowledge we are having in the science community. And for this, we wanted to make a tool that can translate the scientific results into easily understandable aquaculture performance factors. So we tackle three main aquaculture performance factors. First is the food conversion ratio, which means how much food do I need to invest to gain a specific weight of fish, which can help calculate how much investment into cost of food do I need to give in. Then the second performance factor is time to market. So how long will it take to get the fish of the size that it will be profitable to sell in the market? And the third is the risk of the disease, because if the aquaculture is under constant threat of the disease, of course, its cost benefit will drop. So the science behind the perfect consists of two main modules. So first, we have the dynamic energy budget model, which actually uses the process-based modeling to determine how well fish grow in different environmental conditions. So under different, for example, temperature scenarios in the future climate change. Then we translate the growth of, obtain the growth in length and weight of fish, and then we translate this into this metrics that I mentioned before. So how long will it take for fish to grow to the certain size, and also how much food do I need to invest? The second module is the Vibrio growth model, and it's the model from which we can determine the amount of time of the critical exposure to the pathogen that might impact the fish growth and even cause the fish death in the aquaculture. And from that, we calculate the impact of pathogens. So the platform itself combines a range of different open data where, of course, Blue Cloud comes really in handy, combining all the data that it's needed for our platform to run. So we collected first data from different sources, but mainly focusing on the Blue Cloud as well. So we collected the temperature data, the grid data for the geospatial platform, then the fish farm locations from the Blue Cloud, which and also local data from Ministry of Agriculture of Croatia. And for the growth model, we collected the species parameters. So for all the fish species that are included in our platform, the parameters for their growth. In total, we collected 2 terabytes of raw data, which we rendered to 10 gigabytes of meaningful data. And all the data now it's stored on the Blue Cloud, and everybody interested can also access those data. And this is where actually I can point out that Blue Cloud is really great because we could download the data from our local government, so the Minister of Agriculture, and put it into Blue Cloud. So now it's actually accessible to anyone. So the perfect platform structure, actually it consists of four main parts. So first is the user input, where the user selects the location, the species of interest for their aquaculture and the RCP climate change scenario. Then the module itself gets the data that depending on the user input, so daily temperatures according to the scenario and the species parameters according to the selected species. Then in the background, the dev model is run, where we obtain the fish growth, and then we calculate the food conversion ratio and time to market. And lastly, we run the Vibrio model when we identify dates of critical Vibrio abundance exposure. So Vibrio is the most common pathogen in aquaculture. So we identify days of the critical exposure. Everything is integrated in the Jupyter Hub on the Blue Cloud, which actually is really good because it's open and anybody can access it. Anybody can see the code and also input their feedbacks if they think something can be improved. So I think it's best to show how it works. So like a hands-on. So this is the main screen of our platform on the Blue Cloud. So as you can see, now we're only focused on the Mediterranean, with the markers indicating the locations of the now existing fish farms, and the blue line is the whole grid of the coastal area. In the future, it can be expanded to the whole world as well. So what you can do, you can scroll around the map, and you can also select the locations you're interested in. So for example, if you select the existing aquaculture sites, you can see the coordinates and also the species that is currently grown at the aquaculture site. For example, in Croatia, we have two main species that are grown. If you click on any coastal part available, then you see the coordinates, and you can also run the simulations for that area. First you select either existing aquaculture or the new location, and then you have the option to select the species of your interest. We included two main aquaculture species that are already grown in Mediterranean, but we also included a range of other species that are being explored for future that are potentially really good for aquaculture cultivation. So after you select the species, you select your RCP scenario, and then you just click simulate. After a while, you get the results. So here you can see the three panels, each of the panel addressing to one of the indicators. So food conversion ratio, time to market, and vibriosis risks. And the results are actually showing the relative changes throughout the years in the reference to the reference year. So if you see the dashed line, we put the reference year currently 2022, and you can see the simulations up to 2046. And for each year, you can see whether the feed conversion ratio, time to market, or vibriosis rates will be higher or lower than the reference year. So for example, if it's in the red zone, we know that the feed conversion ratio will be higher. So it means we need to input more food for the same gain, which means more cost. Then time to market, if it's more in red zone, meaning it will take longer for our fish to grow to the specific size. And vibriosis risk, if it's in the red zone, meaning there will be more days with a higher exposure to the Vibrio. So actually just looking into these indicators, you can actually gain insight how will my aquaculture perform at that area. So for example, if we change the scenario, we can obtain the different results. And in that way, we can either compare the same locations with the different scenarios, and also compare the different locations and the different species. So for the further development, currently the application is, of course, in its testing phase, and the tool is still limited. And of course, the results are just preliminary results, but the platform itself is available to be explored for anyone that is interested. The code, as I already said, is open, and any feedback is welcome. And in the future, we want to expand the user input so that the user can select their reference year to which they want to see the results. We want to extend the time frame, and we want to make the options that user inputs their local data, because we think that the better performance of the models can be obtained if the local data is used. We want to develop, we want to increase the resolution. So getting the, for example, higher depth, because now we're only taking the surface temperature. And what we are now currently mostly focused on is improving Vibrio model, because currently it's only the most simplified growth model that it can be. But what we want to do is also include not only temperature, but also other factors impacting the growth of pathogens, because it's widely known that, for example, also eutrophication can impact the growth of bacteria that can impact, have a negative impact on aquaculture. And of course, yeah, we're really happy for any user feedback, and our plan is also to collaborate, of course, with aquaculture stakeholders. So the prize that we won, we're gonna use it to create some surveys to send out to the local aquaculture sites in Croatia to gain the feedback, and also to organize the event to put our platform to reach out to other stakeholders and show them what our platform can do, and ask them what they think it's needed to develop the platform even further. So I would just like to show also the promo video that was developed during our hackathon. I think it will well summarize everything that I talked about now. So.
United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and many EU initiatives such as Mission Starfish and Farm to Fork and Blue Economy strategies call for rapid increase in aquaculture production. But uncertainties related to effects of climate change might impede investment. Food is 50% of operating costs. In 30 years, will farmers need more of it? How fast will the fish grow? Are diseases going to be a problem?
So, you'd like to know what the future holds. Here in Croatia, we expect less food per fish brought to market and a faster growth. Disease will be a nuisance, but probably not a major problem. Here in Africa, however, we expect the disease to pick up substantially.
The forecast you just saw from our Jupyter notebook was developed for the Blue Cloud during Hackathon ideation. We used open data sources to drive two models: the dynamic energy budget model estimating food requirements and fish growth, and logistic Vibrio bacterial growth model to estimate disease risks. Our project Perfect may not be yet perfect, but can already help you plan investment, policies, and farming. The code is open, please add features or let us know what you'd like to see. Check it out, it's already floating in the Blue Cloud. All you need to do is click the location, choose the species, set the scenario, and click the blue button.
So yeah, that was all from me. I would like to thank all my collaborators and the Blue Cloud for creating a really nice platform that everybody can join in and contribute. And yeah, I think for us scientists, it's a really good way to collaborate, even if we're not on the same place, and share the data that we either collected ourselves or obtain data from other institutes. I really support and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ines, for your kind words. I actually agree. As a Blue Cloud user, the potential as a tool for collaborative work, I really like because I looked at it more from the point of view of all these blue data infrastructures that are there, but of course, not all the data is in these infrastructures. And when you mentioned that it was also very useful that you downloaded data from the government, and this data then it's now there available, where not everyone may have think of or know how to really find this data. So indeed, there is really a lot of applications, and yeah, thank you for you and the whole team developing this very, very great tool. Maybe I'll ask some questions at the end, or hopefully just encouraging the public. We don't have a lot of people, but I see very interesting profiles in the participant list. So we will have some time really to have some conversations. So take the chance to maybe have to chat with us, with hackathon winners. So yeah, thank you, Ines. So now we go with our last prize winner from the hackathon, who is presenting the wildlife trackers for oceans. So presented by Bryan Vallejo. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patricia. Nice to see that there's people excited about the oceans. So I would like to introduce you about this solution. It is called the Wildlife Tracker for Oceans. So we work with marine protected areas assessment in real-time wildlife tracking and ocean monitoring data. Well, so to start, what is it? The Wildlife Tracker is a cloud geo framework, and it's focused in real-time movement analysis. So what we do is to connect directly to the backend of Argo satellite. So scientists who are actually tracking whales or are tracking any marine wildlife, they can visualize in real time what it is happening with the location of the animal. So what you see here is how the wildlife tracker looks. You have just some interaction. It actually works with the username and password. So all your data is properly protected. So what it is able to, we have connected different data sets from ocean generated data. So the satellite can retrieve phytoplankton products, for example, the blue cloud, as you can see here. So these hotspots of phytoplankton can actually tell you why this wildlife is having movements, specifically what is it happening in marine protected areas. And what it is nice is that you can actually choose the dates of these hotspots. So you can really interact and see what's going on. And these kind of visualizations, you can just download it from the wildlife tracker and send them online to colleagues or to your website or wherever you want to share it. So after the hackathon, we have been working in the real implementation of this product, and it has been accepted for a pilot project with the Galapagos Whale Shark project. And you can see there is Sophia. Sophia Green is actually tracking whale shark and installing tags in whale sharks in Galapagos Islands. And thanks to her, who is part of our team, we have created our first demo, which is this cloud show framework that is actually helping to Sophia how to know where these animals are and how to assess the marine protected area. So then why we want to implement it? The main idea is to create marine protected areas based on the meaningful spots of these animals. So in this animation, you can see how the phytoplankton during the year goes to the north and then comes back to the south. Well, that's because the temperature of the water during the year. So when you overlap these with marine protected areas, you will notice that most of the meaningful places of these whales are not covered by protected areas. So what we want is to assess properly these and create like a more data-driven shapes of these marine protected areas. Oh, well, this is also a new publication we have. We want to prevent the risk caused by anthropogenic pressure. For example, fishing pressure. We have received in the last year already 3 whale sharks that were found on land, and most of them were caught accidentally by fishing. So what we want is to protect these areas and to assess the fishing pressure. So we have more ideas implementing different data from fishery, and actually we're installing an alert system that can tell the scientist when this tag is found on land. So what we want is to give a tool to marine scientists and institutions that are working on marine conservation and movement ecology, so they can assess properly the marine spatial planning. So we are planning to have an event, a workshop for the next month, for July. So please, I would suggest following Twitter. We have different activities, different publications and visualizations. So it would be nice if you are tuned. So probably you can join. That would be also nice. And I would like to show you what we have been working on. It's our promo video. And well, that's it. We have a new website that has a new presentation. So if you are willing to see how a project is looking like, please just go and visit and do not hesitate to ask something.
Okay, thank you very much, Bryan. Very inspiring project indeed. I'm also looking forward to see how this evolves. And again, very useful. Like if I can wrap up the three presentations from today, is really something that it has real life applications, and it's very useful. So yeah, thank you again. Maybe now I'll invite every panelist to put their camera on. We have about 15 minutes. We won't run the poll because it won't be very representative for data purposes, but that's why we really invite anyone in the public to jump in the conversation. I actually was paying very well attention to all the presentations, so I can create a bit of a conversation with you all. But yeah, again, please, from the public, feel free to either drop any questions or to just ask so we give you access to the microphone. Okay, so just maybe staying with you, Bryan, since you were the last one participating. So as I was saying, I think it's really important that when we produce all these applications, or I like to call them data products, but it's really a tool, what you're doing here with a lot of applications. And so I understand that this would be really useful for MPA managers. So for scientists, sometimes it's always easier to really go into a code and understand, but I believe not all MPA managers may really have the knowledge to develop, to work with a code, to develop these things. So I see it really useful for someone with not a lot of knowledge to really just use in an easy way your application. So my question goes, have you already have any contact with MPA managers? Have anyone like, do you foresee like how to really bring this into the market, for saying it in a way?
Oh, well, yes, actually we have a plan. So our first plan is to reach all the people that can assess the marine protected area of Galapagos Islands. So we have contacted most of the people that is actually working with movement ecology. It is tagging marine wildlife, and we are showing the tool. So we have received very good response. They are very excited because, as you mentioned, the tool is easy to use. They don't need to see code. They don't really have to dig in this. And the best thing is that they actually can share what they do in the platform online to the team, to the government, let's say, when they are literally shaping the marine protected area. So yes, they are interested in that, and they have suggested that they would like to have something related like a real-time shaping of this area. So when the wildlife is coming to the place for the plankton, they want to avoid fishing pressure, and when they leave, they can let the fishing ships. So it's actually interesting, and I'm happy that they really want to join and use this cloud service.
Wow, that sounds really useful, and that indeed is real-time data, and that they can really act very quickly. So yeah, looking forward for very successful of the use of the application, and for sure we will also spread the word for the workshop that you presented. So we have more people aware of it. Thank you very much, Bryan. I think
Thank
we
you.
have a question. Not sure if it's for you. Let me check. Okay, so the question is, thank you very much for this presentation. They give a great overview of the possible applications regarding the data available in Blue Cloud, CMEMS expected. Do you have extra European data? Yes, there is really a wide of European data platforms. So perhaps can we share the screen? Do you have handy the presentation? Yeah, so maybe I just share the overview where we can see the different data platforms, and I can point out which ones are the, yeah. So just sharing the screen right now. Yeah, so starting from the left of this in this slide, so we have EMONet. There is data from eutrophication, contaminants, marine litter data from EMONet chemistry. There is occurrence data from marine species. This comes from EMONet biology and Eurobis. Also, we have genetic data from Ines and Elixir, Eurobioimaging data, which consists in imaging data from different applications from cells to human. There is as well carbon data from ICOS stations. So all this is really European data. SOCAT, which is also some parameters from carbon, and then we have CDataNet, which also contains data and data products related to ammonet chemistry and ammonet bathymetry, Argo floats as well for instance, temperature and salinity, and as you mentioned, CMEMS products, and the Wikio platform that is from CMEMS. And as you have seen in the products that they have been presented, the applications that have been presented today, many of them are using at least one of these platforms. I saw Ammonet being used. I've seen also Bryan plankton data, chlorophyll A data from Ines. I'm not sure, Ines, from any of these platforms, did you?
Yeah, we collected from Ammonet
I can't hear
and
you.
Copernicus. Ammonet and Copernicus.
Okay, I can't hear. Okay, perfect. Yes, so yeah, plenty of European data accessible from the Discovery Data and Access Service in Blue Cloud, but as well as Ines mentioned, there is also the products that they have developed together with the virtual labs that have been developed in Blue Cloud, where we have external data out of these Blue data infrastructures also available for you to explore. Yeah, I don't know if this answered your question. If you need to comment anything, otherwise I'll just maybe stay with Ines. I have a question for you.
Okay.
So I saw in your video that indeed it summarized very well the application. You were mentioning some of the strategies, farm to fork, missing starfish, etc. So I was wondering, is there any specific societal or policy challenge for the European Green Deal, since we're in the framework of the European Green Week? Could you maybe tell us how this can address the problems we're facing now with the climate change?
Yeah, I mentioned all of this. So we have the globals, the Sustainable Development Goals, and also the EU frameworks. So yeah, I mentioned Mission Starfish and the EU Green Deal Farm to Fork. So all of these initiatives, they're actually focusing on sustainable food systems, and they want to make the transition to the systems easier. And they, but at the same time, they want the rapid increase of aquaculture. So the sustainable, achieving the sustainable goal is actually kind of really hard. And it needs to be in a fair, healthy, and environmental friendly way. And the policies, they need to be coherent all across the European Union, if we're talking only about the European Union, and the national levels. And for this, you actually need to have a really great deal of conversation and collaboration between all the stakeholders. So not only the policymakers are important, but you need to have all the stakeholders, so even the farmers and the investors. And what we see that our tool can do, so when you sit down and have a dialogue, especially if it's concerning regarding climate change and the future plans, you need to know what are you expecting. So if you want to have a clear conversation, you need to know, sit down and know how to say what are your requests. So our tool can help stakeholders to create get insight into what if scenarios, so they can prepare their plans and the requests. So when they sit down with the policymakers, they can say, oh, we want this and we need this to cover the sustainable development in our aquaculture production. So actually it can help to develop these plans to ensure clear communication once they sit down. What we see, a benefit of our tool is it can inform the zoning legislation, because it can indicate areas that are most suitable for the establishment of the new aquacultures, which actually can help develop legislations in this zoning of the coastal areas, which is actually a really important part of coastal zonal coastal management. And also one of the main challenges is to address long-term costs and impacts. So not only the short-term, which is usually a thing that humans like to do. So, okay, we'll just consider next 10 years and not 100 years, but actually it's more important to consider long-term goals. And with our tool and also this RCP scenarios, we can give the forecasts for the longer future, which actually removes some of the uncertainties and kind of reassure the investors, so they can be sure, okay, if I invest in this part or this pieces, I can be kind of more sure that my investment will come back to me. So it can actually help develop aquaculture into in the future, which is also one of the main goals of all the frameworks, to get initiatives and investment into the sector to get more rapid development.
Yeah, can you hear me? I'm sorry, I just had problems with my, okay, perfect. Wow, thank you, Ines. It's actually, I really hope that this dialogue that is very important to come, it really can happen with this tool, and indeed there is really a big connection with the European Green Deal, and to overcome future scenarios, and have not only that, but also the blue economy, how you apply this as well for the market and the investors. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the development of this. Okay, so we have only a few minutes left. I don't see more questions in the chat, so I'm just gonna quickly drop my last question for Laura. Laura, so your application, I see that for now is focused on the Mediterranean in a regional scale, and that your plans will be to have more and over, like to scale it with other data types, but as well in a global scale. So my question is, do you foresee, or what are the challenges that you foreseen to be able to step this, to scale this up? As I understand, sometimes it's not easy to find all the data that is needed, or to really combine different data types. So do you have any comments?
Yeah, thanks for your question, Patricia. Yeah, I think luckily our tool, in one sense, it's easy to apply it to other regions, as long as we have data on the currents. It's straightforward. Then of course there's maybe areas which are more complex, for example the Chilean fjords. But then where I think maybe the biggest challenge is having the plastic data, right? Because maybe not everywhere, especially in the global south, we have so many like data, for example, of the plastics on the coast, and also that environmental conscience to provide the data, and also the sampling maybe at sea of these plastics, it's still very undersampled. So that's part of the challenge, but still we can at least provide some information. As long as we have the currents and the location of the aquaculture farms, we can still provide some information there.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Great. I think what you said also is very important, that the lack of data is really something very new that we are not collecting for many years, plastic data, marine litter data. So having this type of conversations and realizing of data needs will probably help, and more data becomes available, so we can really have these global products, because they're also very interesting to have a good overview. And yeah, I'm aware that with EMONet chemistry, there is going to be at the European level more data coming in the next years, but hopefully there is also more in the areas where there is more data gaps. So okay, well, thank you everyone, and yeah, I really enjoyed your presentations, and I hope we can meet one time in a Blue Cloud event, and I will definitely look at your products and hopefully provide feedback. I invite really anyone to join Blue Cloud, because with your feedback, with the use of the platform, is how we can really develop further these products and understand what are the needs of the whole community, not just marine scientists, but as well policymakers or even citizen scientists. So yeah, thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia.
Yeah, we see each other soon. Bye bye.
See you. Bye. Bye.